Right now, two of the world's largest aerospace companies are standing at a crossroads. One is routinely launching massive rockets into space, documenting every failure publicly, and iterating faster than most companies can even schedule a meeting. The other is grounded indefinitely, caught in a web of helium leaks and software glitches during what was supposed to be humanity's return to reliable crewed spaceflight. This isn't about engineering talent or technology, both have that. This is about what happens when the system designed to protect you becomes the thing that blinds you. Let's rewind to the early 2010s. NASA had a real problem. The space shuttle program had been retired. Getting American astronauts to the International Space Station now meant riding Russian rockets, and relying on a foreign power for human spaceflight had become politically unacceptable. So NASA did something it rarely did. It opened up crewed spaceflight to commercial competition. Two very different companies answered that call. Boeing showed up as the establishment choice. They'd been building spacecraft since the dawn of the space age. Their relationships with NASA stretched back decades. They understood government contracting, regulatory frameworks, and the enormous weight of responsibility that comes with launching humans into orbit. When NASA selected Boeing to develop the CST-100 Starliner, it felt inevitable. This was what Boeing did. They built capsules. They did it safely. They had the playbook. SpaceX was the outlier. Founded by Elon Musk in 2002, the company's stated mission seemed absurd to most of the aerospace establishment. Make rockets cheaper, make them reusable, make spaceflight routine instead of exceptional. The industry consensus was clear. SpaceX would burn through capital, fail dramatically, and disappear. They weren't supposed to become a serious player in human spaceflight. They were supposed to be a cautionary tale. But something unexpected happened. SpaceX landed rocket boosters that aerospace veterans insisted were impossible to land. They built a heavy-lift vehicle called Falcon 9 that became the most reliable rocket in operation. Then, they turned their attention to crewed spacecraft. By 2020, SpaceX's Crew Dragon had already launched astronauts to the ISS twice. Here's where the real story begins. Both companies now had the same mission. Both had similar NASA funding. Both were racing against the same timeline. The stage was set for a direct comparison between two organizational approaches. Which company would master safe, reliable human spaceflight? What followed revealed something much deeper than engineering capability. Boeing's operational culture was forged in military contracts and government work. That created a specific decision-making architecture. Every change required sign-offs. Every problem required committee review. Every test needed approval before the next test could begin. This sounds like prudence. It sounds like the kind of rigor you want when human lives are at stake. But there's a trap hidden inside that logic. Adding more meetings doesn't necessarily make you safer. It makes you slower. And when you're moving slowly in an industry that's accelerating, you create a different kind of risk. You stop seeing problems in real time. Boeing had built decades of infrastructure around this model. Relationships, procedures, institutional memory, all of it was optimized for a slow, approval-based process. Changing course meant admitting the old way wasn't working. So when problems started appearing during Starliner development, Boeing's response was predictable. More testing, more reviews, more sign-offs, deep in the same system that supposedly protected them. SpaceX chose the opposite philosophy. Elon's mandate was radical iteration. Test, fail, learn, test again. When SpaceX's rockets exploded on the launch pad, they didn't convene emergency meetings. They published the sensor data, analyzed what broke, and flew the next test weeks later. May 2024, Boeing stands on the brink of long-awaited triumph. The Starliner, a crew-rated space capsule, is cleared for flight after years of iterative engineering, delay, review, and repair. The company presents caution as virtue. Every additional month, every layer of process, is a pledge that safety comes before schedule. This is the calculated climax, the moment when thoroughness must finally pay off. All those signatures, checklists, and meetings will redeem themselves in the heat of real crewed flight. Or so it is hoped. Reality arrives not as thunder, but as leaks, helium specifically, as familiar and unwanted as a recurring dream. Despite a decade in development, issues once thought solved emerge again in the crucial crewed phase. Software glitches, docking misbehaviors. The landing procedure is anything but controlled. What was an autonomous, flight-ready system on paper now needs 2 astronauts to seize the manual controls mid-descent. Inside Starliner, what had been months of anticipation turns suddenly to something closer to dread. The astronauts have been promised an intelligent, seamless ride. Now they trust themselves more than the systems built to keep them safe. This is the real dividing line, not when the problem occurs, but when the company discovers whether its processes reveal failure soon enough to act. Boeing reacts as it always has. More study, fuller reports, committees and subcommittees. The vehicle is grounded indefinitely as investigation layers over investigation. Months become quarters. The empty capsule waits in the hangar. Outside, press releases reaffirm commitment and rigor. But inside the data logs, a parallel story waits to be told. Every problem of the crewed flight test shows its fingerprints in the years of development data. The helium leaks, the docking quirks, the software flaws. Engineers saw them in pieces, scattered through meeting notes and internal memos. But each flagged concern entered a system so slow and recursive, it almost guaranteed delay, not resolution. The more significant a problem, the further it traveled through layers of review before it could even be addressed. When the schedule caught up to yesterday's unsolved risk, a new risk had already appeared to take its place. Compare this to SpaceX, working under the same laws of physics, different only in process. Starship detonates, Falcon rockets tumble, code misbehaves spectacularly in primetime webcasts. But on the ground, engineers swarm the data, manufacturing pivots. Next flight, sometimes just weeks away. Successes and failures are live-streamed, dissected, and iterated on in public. Error becomes lesson. Lesson becomes test case for everyone to see. What emerges is not a story of who makes more mistakes. Both companies fight an endless battle with entropy. But their reactions could not be more opposite. Boeing's systems respond to failure by encasing it in process, slowing everything down until the intent to prevent risk becomes the primary risk. SpaceX's systems demand that learning happen immediately, ensuring that visibility and velocity outweigh comfort and control. The crucible of modern engineering isn't defined by the absence of error. It's defined by the speed at which those errors are recognized and resolved. When the stakes rise, large organizations tend toward greater caution, increasing the very bureaucracy that slows their response. In the current space race, the faster organization outlearns, not just outbuilds, its rivals. Boeing, with its pedigree and contracts and relationships, finds its old strengths have ossified. The review committees that protected crews for decades now shield the company from its own weaknesses, performing a kind of safety theater that feels responsible until reality demands responsiveness. The very system built to ensure survival now ensures inertia,